Hey guys, Galucia here, picking up right where we left off in the last Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time walkthrough slash gameplay slash tutorial slash everything else. And today, to start off, we're going to head in here to the shooting gallery where we will hopefully be able to earn a bigger bag for our awesome fancy pants slingshot. Now, these are on a pattern. So it's a repeatable pattern. It's always the same. You're not going to use the C buttons or whatever you use for an emulator if you're playing it on emulator like you normally would. You're going to use A. But as you can see, this is the pattern, and I'm a little shaky because I'm using an Xbox controller on my emulator rather than a 64 controller, which is what this. No! Oh man, I was one away from getting it the first try. Okay, so if you get close, you can at least find solace in the fact that it's going to be free. If you screw up really bad, where like you missed a whole bunch, then you're gonna have to pay for it to do it again. And depending on how many rubies you have, that may be a problem. So hopefully you can at least get close. Oh god, no! Jeez. Wow, I wish I got it the first try, I really do. Ah! Oh. Okay, so there's a good example of not enough. I think you have to have, you can only miss 2. If you miss 2, then you'll be able to have another go at it. So, you know, hopefully, you know, like I said, there's that pottery room that we talked about in the last episode where you can really rack up on rubies. So, you know, you'll be going there before here anyway. So you should have a decent amount of rubies. But if you fail out really bad, like I am kind of doing right now, hopefully, you know, then you can always just go back to the pottery room and earn enough to eventually get it. Practice makes perfect. But we got it. So now we can hold up to 40. And there's one more expansion for your slingshot, but that's going to come at a later time. So now we've pretty much done everything we can do in the market during the day as of yet. So we come out here to Hyrule Castle. Now, once again, we're going to have to talk to the annoying owl so he can explain the damn castle. Once he shuts up, I'm going to show you where there is another gold skull to it and how to actually get into the castle. So be right back once this guy is done yabbing on his dumb eyebrows. Okay, he's done yabbing. So the first thing we're going to do is not pick up a rock. Okay, the rock was in my way. Not pick up a rock. The first thing we're going to do is roll into this tree. Whoa. Almost got hit by him. Get yet again another gold skull to it, which are going to actually serve a purpose to us soon. Okay, so what we're going to do is, obviously, whoop, that's not where I want to be. Obviously, right here is a vine that you can climb. And this is what gets us inside the castle. However, going into the castle right now serves you zero purpose. There's going to be a man in there and whatnot, but that man is useless to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to purposely get caught, which sends us flying outside of the gate. They kicked us out. And now as we leave, ta-da! This fine young lady is here. And she's going to ask us to find her dad. Her dad is the owner of the Lon Lon Ranch that we went to in the last episode. So she gives us the egg, the weird egg. For some reason I was thinking it was called an interesting egg. I couldn't remember if it was weird or interesting. It's both. So now we have an egg. We have to basically just hold on to this egg, and eventually it's going to hatch while we're holding on to it and turn into a chicken. Until that turns into a chicken, we can't really do anything. And another point of interest is that the time passes by while we're out here. So you don't have to go outside the market like through the front gate. So if you want to be in the market at nighttime, you come into here, and that will allow the time to pass by. So we're going to just literally just stand here and wait for nighttime because we have some stuff that we want to do inside the market. So we're going to go back into the market at nighttime, and I will show you the next heart piece. Okay, so it's nighttime and we're in the market. Now, 2 points of interest. Point number 1, this door right here will take you to a treasure game. The treasure game is basically a series of treasure chests. You have a 50-50 shot at choosing the right one, which is... This freaking dog followed me the whole way. Sorry, lady. The dog started following me by accident. If you have to keep choosing the right chest. If you choose the right chest, and it's completely random, totally random, so I can't give you a guide necessarily for that. If you're able to guess the entire series the whole way through, you get a heart piece. But there's an item that you're going to get later in the game that is actually going to make it so that you can cheat and just find your way through no problem. So we're going to grab this white dog here. There's a few white dogs too, so you have choices of white dogs to kind of make it a little bit harder. It's not like it's just the one white dog, but you're going to choose that white dog, and you're going to bring it back to this lady, and that's her Richard, and then she gives you a heart piece. And now that's our second heart piece, doing pretty good with those. So, I mean, you can try to do the treasure game now if you want. The odds of you getting through it are pretty slim, so I wouldn't waste your rubies trying to get through it. Just wait till you get the piece that's going to allow you to cheat, basically. And I will explain to you what that item is when we get it. We'll revisit that whole thing, and we will get that heart piece. It's just, like I said, there's no point in getting it now. So, we're just going to move on. So, to sneak into the castle, at least like this first bit that we're doing now, like out in the field part, is very simple. If you follow the road, there's a guy in the way. You can't follow all the way in the road. You can see them both right there. And there's a guy right there. So you're just going to go behind him. These guards are like freaking blind. As long as you're not like this close to them, like they don't see you or react to it. Now there's guards on the stairs as well, so you can't just take the obvious route to the stairs. So you're going to go over to here, which is this stone bit, which lets you climb up the wall, and then you're going to be able to jump into the moat. Now, point of interest, if you swim quickly along here, you will get a few rubies, including a fiver, if you manage to. It's not always a guarantee, but you can. I don't think this tree... Oh, okay, we got C's this time, which I didn't need. Alright, so there is Milan's father, Talon. Ah, and now that the sun has come up, our chicken has hatched out of the egg. So, now we can bring up the menu, which, by the way, I never equipped that. So we'll equip that, we'll equip the chicken. And then we're going to stand in front of this lazy jerk and pull out the chicken, waking him up. This guy sleeps all the time. Look at his eyes, he looks freaking stoned. You stoner, wake up. Your daughter needs you. She's wandering around in the town at night. You're a terrible father. Okay, so basically he came here to deliver some milk, and he fell asleep because he falls asleep constantly. So he's going to run off like a madman. After he runs off like a madman, we have these two boxes to my right that we're going to move into position, and that's what's going to get us into the castle. You just push them into the moat there in front of where that water is falling right there, and that is going to enable us to walk across this, get into the castle, and then we have a bit of a guard dodging game coming up after that. So we will rejoin for the guard dodging. Okay, so here we are inside the courtyard, and we have a series of sections where you have to avoid being detected by the guards. Now you can wait for that guy to pass, or you can just go along the backside. He's not always going to be in the same place when you first get here. As long as you're like behind a bush, they won't see you, and like as long as they're like on the opposite side of a thing, then they won't see you. Like right now, that guard is not close enough to see me, even if I wasn't behind the bush. But see, now they're both over there, so I can safely pass by. With this guard, there's a couple different ways you can go about it. You actually can get those rubies if you really, really want rubies, but that seems like a bit of a waste to me to chance getting caught. You can also just walk right by him once he gets to the other side. Just like the other guards, he'll be too far away to notice you. But if you're confident enough in your analog stick abilities, then you can just walk over top of him, which I think is the funner approach to it. These ones get pretty close. They have like this weird pattern going where you have a short window because there's a delay where this second guard moves out of the way right as the first guard is going to want to move into the way. basically, if that's a sentence that I can say. So we're just going to have to wait until the exact moment, which you'll see here in just... Okay, so here we are, waiting for these dumb guards. Now, there they go. There's a double pattern to that, and it's not always going to be clear. There's one time where they will both seem like they're on the other side, but they move too fast for you to get past it. And then there's the other time, which is what you just saw, and then you can get past it no problem. These ones kind of have a tricky, quicker pattern as well, but it's not too bad. They have periods that they're going to sprint, like you just saw him do there. So you do have to react quickly. As soon as the coast is clear there, you're going to want to move up so that you can see the whole picture like I am now. And then there you go. You got to wait for him to move, otherwise it'll trigger him. As soon as that first one starts to move, you have a small window because of the sprinting to get past without the other one seeing you. And that's it. That was the last section. So from here on, we're going to get a whole bunch of story background. So very off the bat, we're going to go ahead and finally meet Princess Zelda. We're going to get a whole bunch of story background, more story about the goddesses, stories about Ganondorf, the main villain for the game, and all kinds of stuff. But we're going to meet back up in a minute when we actually are done talking to Princess Zelda and talking to her devout bodyguard. So we'll be rejoined in a second. Okay, so we're just about to the end of the story bit here after we got to spy on Ganondorf and all that good stuff. So Princess Zelda gives us a letter, and we are going to need that letter later on. Let me switch this camera around. It's going to help us pass through a certain area. Then we come over here to meet this funny looking lady, and this is the bodyguard to Princess Zelda. And this is where we actually learn our first song that we can play on the ocarina, and that is going to be Zelda's Lullaby, which is like the royal song. It's the most commonly used song in the game. It unlocks millions of things, so it's incredibly important to learn this, and you should have it memorized very quickly because you're going to play it a lot. Okay, so now that we're done with learning the lullaby, we have been we're escorted rather, outside of the city. Here we are, and we are now facing the direction of our next location, which would be the Kakariko village, which is where the bodyguard is from, and from there up Death Mountain. But before you go there, we are going to actually go back to Lon Lon Ranch because there is some more that we can do there, and I'd rather do it now just to get it out of the way, and it's also going to set us up with success because it's going to give us an item that we can actually use just about immediately. So that's going to be it for today's episode, but join me in the next episode where we're going to have a whole bunch of wrap-up stuff because we're going to go to Lon Lon Ranch and the village, and there's going to be a lot of stuff leading up to the actual trying to get into the dungeon. A lot of items and heart pieces and all that good stuff. So join me next episode to learn about all those locations and to enjoy more Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time gameplay, walkthrough, /playthrough / everything else. Laters!